Jason,
Nick,
how's it going?
good man.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm really glad you're here.
Me too. First podcast.
First podcast ever. Oh,
Ever.
well, let's make it a good one.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Hopefully not your last, because if nothing else, we'd love to have you back.
Well, I'll maybe come. We'll
Okay.
see. We'll see how this one goes.
We'll see how it goes.
Playing hard to get.
How's your heart? I always like to start off these podcasts by asking just how you're doing, man.
Yeah, that's a good question. My heart. Where's my heart? It's. I'm trying to find it.
Okay.
It's been a lot.
Obviously, there was another Bachelorette there. Was it Gabby the whole time for you? Like, what was your mindset going in, knowing there were two Bachelorettes?
Yeah. Going in. Well, so I watched the last episode of her season, the finale.
Okay.
That was when she was announced as the Bachelorette, and I don't know. There was something about her watching it, even through the TV, that I picked up on. Some kind of, I don't know. There was some kind of like spark that just really caught my eye. Like, she was just very genuine and comfortable being herself no matter what, even through the TV. I could tell. So I kind of had it in my mind already that I was gonna be more interested in her.
And then obviously you met Gabby. When was that confirmed? Your assumptions once you met them, was it kind of pretty instantly? When was the first time you sat down? Did you talk to both women the first night, or was it just one, either of them?
No, I actually, so I talked to them out of the limo, which I don't remember. I think I blacked out.
Yeah.
And then, no, I was like, I'm going to sit by the fireplace. I'm just going to go chill over there for the rest of the night. And, yeah, I think I sat there for the rest of the night.
And you didn't talk to him?
No, I didn't talk to you.
You literally just
I literally just sat on the fireplace.
Wow.
I'm curious because I think it was kind of controversial to have two bachelorettes, and there was a lot of talk about whether or not they were pitting women against each other. Did you feel like the kinds of interview questions you were being asked, or like the kinds of conversations men were having off camera, aligned with that of women being pitted against each other, or was it pretty people picked a camp and moved on from there?
No, I don't think the women were pitted against each other at all. I think honestly it was kind of just like a free for all, and there was absolutely no rules, and that went for the girls and the guys. So it was kind of just like, here's the situation. What are you going to do with it? And everyone had different ways they were going to handle it, and some handled it more poorly than others, I think. It was just like a constant battle with myself of being like, honestly, like watching it back, like it was hard for me to watch myself.
In what way?
Because that's just not who, I just don't think I'm like that. Like,
Yeah.
I felt like a different person in that environment.
You didn't feel like watching it, there was a fair, accurate representation of yourself?
No. And like, I think it's,
But it sounds like it was more like you take ownership of that. It's not like you're blaming
that's what I'm
anyone
saying.
else.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not, it was because in that environment, I
Yeah.
truly just, I was so taken back by everything. And I was trying to be so real in an environment that didn't feel safe to me, I guess.
But I'm curious, if you were to add up the hours that you've actually had time speaking with Gabby, how many hours do you think you had spoken with Gabby and spent with Gabby one-on-one prior to spending the night with Gabby off camera?
Which we never did actually spend the night with each other.
You didn't?
No, we didn't. But we talked for a while. I'll get into that
Okay.
later. In my mind, it wasn't enough, but
if you did some quick math.
10, less than 10.
Less than 10.
I don't know.
No, I mean, I just want you to act,
Yeah.
we'll let it, to take some time, think about how many hours, but like, for all the people who are just like, what the fuck, man? You know what you signed up for, blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, how many hours did you speak with Gabby before you were expected to get engaged?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how the show usually works, but I think especially with two bachelorettes, our time was extremely limited, it felt like.
How many hours did your one-on-one last?
Few hours?
Yeah.
Couple hours.
Usually it's a good 6 to 7 hours. So, yeah, less than 10 hours.
That's where I think a lot of people say, like, why is Jason on the show? He's not even going to get engaged. Like, what's he doing? And I don't know if it came across on TV or not, but kind of what I was telling my mom was like, in this moment, like on our second date, I just want to let you know that like I feel something very real with Gabby, but I am just not at a point right now after 2 dates where I could see myself get engaged. And I was very open to it. But I was being real about it.
All right. So fantasy suite night, that's kind of like your exit. What did you guys talk about? You didn't spend the whole night together. You guys talked, but you didn't sleep next to each other or anything like that. Okay.
No. Yeah. So fantasy suite night. And another question, you know, I get is, Jason, like, why didn't you tell Gabby that you were not ready for engagement until, you know, fantasy suite night? And I guess that, you know, we had that conversation. I told my mom that, and then we really didn't have, I heard Gabby talking about this actually on another podcast, which is true. Like, we didn't have a good space to sit down and just have like an open and honest discussion about where we stood until that next date in Mexico. I mean, we talked for a few hours.
Okay.
And we're just kind of like, nothing was getting accomplished. We were just kind of going back and forth, and like, I think unfortunately we were just on two completely different timelines. And like, I maybe wasn't as far along as I wanted to be at that point, and I was trying to get there. But I just, truthfully, I wasn't there. It was just a shitty situation.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I'm still a little confused of like how it ended, and like how all this, before I knew it, like it was the morning and so we talked for a few hours, and then we went to our separate, we basically broke up in the fantasy suite, and we went our separate ways. We slept in our own rooms. And then when you saw me the following morning, I was so overwhelmed and in shock by everything that had happened.
Gabby on the show kind of famously said that you led her on. Do you feel like you led her on, or do you feel like that was a product of the moment?
Yeah, she said that, and I have so much empathy for her, because watching it back and like even just seeing what she went through, I truly cannot imagine the stress and how fragile of an environment and complex everything she's dealing with. And for me to add any stress to that just absolutely kills me. And any hurt that I caused to her, I truly feel, you know, awful for that. I don't know. I guess I was kind of questioning, like, are they really looking to fall in love? Like, what's going on here? I truly, it took me a while. And then the first time that I realized, holy shit, this is real. This is actually real, is when Gabby came back from the date with Nate, that she broke up with him and started crying. And she came back to us, and I was like, holy shit, like, she really has real feelings for us, and she truly does care about us. And that, honestly, that was the day that just switched my whole mentality on the whole thing.
Where would you consider yourself on the healing path percentage-wise? Like, in terms of your emotional health, where is it now versus where it was before you went on the show?
I think there's just so many elements of the show that you have to heal from.
Yeah.
Like I said, not only are you going through this like crazy heartbreak, but you're also going through an insane experience, which takes a lot of time to process and heal from. And like every single day, like I'll literally be sitting there at work right now, and all of a sudden I flash back to fantasy suites, and like it just plays over in my head, like that conversation we had, and then like trying to remember things. Then like all of a sudden I'm talking to her on the couch, and that all day is just playing through my head, and like I don't know what that is, like, but it's just I'm trying to get to a point where I'm just can like process everything that happened and kind of move on.
Yeah.